She wasn't born a monster. She was once the most beautiful woman in all of Greece, until one terrible day changed her forever. This is the tragic story of Medusa. Long before the world feared her name, Medusa lived peacefully as a devoted priestess in the sacred temple of Athena. Her beauty became legendary. Travelers crossed kingdoms just to witness the woman whose appearance seemed almost divine. Yet Medusa remained loyal to Athena, believing that beauty was a gift meant to honor the goddess, not herself. But far beyond the shores of Greece, another god had already noticed her, and that single moment would change Medusa's destiny forever. Poseidon could not ignore Medusa's beauty. From the depths of the sea, the mighty god became obsessed with the young priestess, watching her from afar. Day after day, Medusa continued her peaceful life, completely unaware that the attention of a god was drawing closer with every passing moment. Then one stormy evening, the sea itself seemed to awaken. Massive waves crashed against the cliffs as Poseidon finally approached Athena's sacred temple. The temple stood silent beneath the storm, as destiny quietly unfolded within its sacred walls. What happened inside the temple would become one of the most controversial stories in all of Greek mythology, and it would change Medusa forever. When Athena returned to her temple, she sensed that its sacred sanctuary had been violated. Her anger shook the heavens themselves. Medusa fell to her knees, begging for mercy, but the goddess's judgment had already been made. A burst of divine power surrounded Medusa, and the curse began to transform her forever. Within moments, the beautiful priestess was gone. In her place stood the first Gorgon, feared by all who looked upon her. Her curse carried one final horror. Anyone who looked directly into her eyes would instantly become stone. Terrified of hurting anyone else, Medusa fled civilization and disappeared into a forgotten island far beyond the reach of mankind. Years passed in complete isolation. The monster the world feared was, in truth, a lonely soul with no place left to call home. Yet stories about the terrifying Gorgon spread across Greece. Hunters and warriors came seeking glory, but none ever returned. One by one, each brave warrior looked into Medusa's eyes and became nothing more than silent stone. Far away, another hero's destiny was beginning. His name was Perseus, and soon his path would cross with Medusa's forever. King Polydectes desired Perseus gone forever, so he gave the young hero an impossible mission: bring back the head of Medusa. Most believed the mission was nothing more than a death sentence. No one had ever survived an encounter with the Gorgon. But Perseus was not alone. Athena decided to guide the young hero on his impossible journey. Athena handed Perseus a polished shield, warning him that looking directly at Medusa would mean certain death. Hermes joined the quest as well, gifting Perseus a razor-sharp divine sword forged for a single purpose. Yet even with these gifts, Perseus still needed one final clue: the location of Medusa's hidden island. His search led him to the mysterious Grae, three ancient sisters who shared a single eye between them. Waiting for the perfect moment, Perseus snatched the shared eye before the sisters could react. Only after they revealed Medusa's secret location did Perseus return the eye to its rightful owners. At last, Perseus stood before the island, where no hero had ever returned alive. The final journey had begun. Every step across the island brought Perseus closer to death. Silent stone statues stood everywhere, each one a hero who had failed before him. Remembering Athena's warning, Perseus never looked ahead. He watched only the reflection inside his polished shield. Deep within the ruined temple, Medusa rested among the shadows, unaware that destiny had finally arrived. With every silent step, Perseus moved closer, trusting only the mirror-like reflection to guide his sword. In one swift movement, Perseus struck. The curse that had haunted Greece for years finally came to an end. From Medusa's final breath, two legendary beings entered the world, Pegasus and Chrysaor. The archer. Medusa's immortal sisters had sensed what had happened, and they were coming. Using Hades' helm of darkness, Perseus vanished from sight and escaped before the furious Gorgons could reach him. Perseus returned victorious. The impossible mission had become one of the greatest heroic feats in Greek mythology. Yet even after her death, Medusa's story would never truly end. Her face would become one of the most powerful symbols in all of Greek mythology. Perseus returned to Seriphos, carrying the impossible prize. The king who expected his death was waiting with a smile, unaware of what was hidden inside the magical satchel. Polydectes laughed, believing Perseus had failed. But the young hero calmly opened the satchel one final time. The king looked directly at Medusa's face, and within seconds, he became nothing more than cold stone. Justice had finally been served. Perseus had defeated both the monster and the tyrant who sent him to die. True to his promise, Perseus returned Medusa's head to Athena, the goddess who had guided him from the very beginning. Athena placed the Gorgon's face upon her legendary Aegis shield, transforming Medusa's curse into a symbol of divine protection. Although remembered as a monster, many believe Medusa was one of Greek mythology's greatest tragedies, a woman whose fate was shaped by the choices of the gods. Even today, her story continues to spark debate. Was Medusa truly evil, or simply another victim of fate? Thousands of years later, her legend remains one of the most unforgettable stories ever told. Her name became immortal, remembered not only for fear, but for the tragedy hidden behind the legend. But Greek mythology was far from over. Countless heroes were still waiting to leave their mark upon history. Among them stood one warrior whose strength would become legendary across the entire ancient world. His impossible labors would challenge monsters, kings, and even the gods themselves. His name was Hercules, and his story was only just beginning. The legend of Medusa had come to an end, but the age of heroes was only beginning.